viewers. Governance at the grassroots has really suffered tremendously in the hand of the people, either as a result of sheer ignorance or negligence. People focus basically on the federal government instead of looking at the local government, which is the closest to the people. This is Politik on YC Studio 1212. My name is Toski Mba, and I'll be talking politics this evening with a gentleman in the studio here with me. He is the councillorship candidate for Acord Party for Kuduru Ward in Buhari Area Council. I have Honorable Sonny Onaji. Honorable Sonny Onaji, he is a journalist turned politician, and it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you, Toski.
Good evening.
Well, thank you.
All right, let's talk politics that you know very much.
Now, when you say I know very much, you're making me look like one
No, I know.
political
I know.
professor.
No, you've been talking politics over the years on radio, TV, and we know who you are.
Yeah.
And you venturing into politics is quite surprising to us, but not really surprised. But all the same, let's talk politics right now.
Okay.
Let's talk about good governance. Over the years, people tend to focus on the federal government, state government, neglecting this local government, which is the closest to the people when it comes to bringing infrastructure. That is the nearest to the people. But people tend to neglect it because either as a result of ignorance or negligence. Which, to you, do you think it is?
Okay. It's a very broad idea. If you want to talk about good governance vis-a-vis grassroots development or good governance at the grassroots, is a very broad ideology, but I will try as much as I can to see that we narrow the conversation so that at the end of the day, our viewers can understand what we're talking about. You asked whether is it negligence or ignorance. Maybe I'll take it from there, but before then, what is actually good governance in the first place?
Okay. Well, good governance is when the policy
favors the people.
When it's
let me help you from there.
Okay.
We say the primary role or function or why does government exist is the welfare and security of the people. Understand?
You're right.
A friend of mine, he was a septuagenarian. He wrote a book, Legislature and Good Governance, and I'm trying to recall his name now. I'll get it before we finish. He said something. He said the essence of government is to reduce pain and increase pleasure. Any government that exists and does not meet the aspiration of the people in terms of welfareism, meeting their basic needs, the people will say it's a bad government or there is bad governance. And especially when the objective or the policies of a government does not favor the people, we say it is bad governance or bad government. The people only adjudge a government that is good only when it touches on their lives. It favors their aspirations, yearnings and aspirations. As long as the government provide their basic needs, the people believe that the government is good. Where corruption is minimized to some extent and the greater interest of the people is prioritized, then in that case you say that is good governance. But that is the understanding of a layman. Okay. And that's why sometimes when government are busy trying to defend their policies, they say we are doing a lot, then you now hear that how does it affect the pocket of the people? They will tell you that the only time the common man will know that the government is doing well is only when he has 3 meals, his breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and he has enough in his pocket in terms of the strength of his purchasing power. That's the only time a layman understands what good governance is all about.
Exactly.
But beyond that, there are a lot of elements that define good governance, especially in a democratic setting like we operate. So if we want to talk about good governance, like I said, it's a broad concept, but I am trying to narrow it for the benefit of our viewers, so that we don't take them through the intricacies and the dynamics and also the broad-based ideology of what good governance is all about.
Okay, talking about narrowing now, let's narrow this discussion to the Buhari Area Council, where we are on the side.
Okay.
Buhari Area Council presented 27.7 billion as the budget for 2025. Based on this budget so far, would you say the money or the amount allocated is commensurate with the development that's on the ground, vis-a-vis the alleviating the plight of the people?
Okay. At the moment I saw the budget, one of the things that caught my attention is the IGR, the internally generated revenue. It tells me that we are not serious. Buhari Area Council is the second largest area council in the Federal Capital Territory after the Abuja Municipal Council, talking about area council.
In terms of landmass or in terms of...
In terms of landmass and population. In terms of economic strength.
Okay.
Yes. After AMAC, Buhari is next. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. In short, you don't need to second guess or to talk in abstract. When you take a look around, you will see the economic viability of Buhari Area Council. You will know that it's a rich area council. Then it's appalling that a budget of 27.7 billion, which I think is still small, but it's amazing that bulk of the funding of that budget, the budget was predicated majorly on federal allocation. That is statutory allocation to the council. Bulk of the money will be coming from the federal government of Nigeria, which is statutorily the right of Buhari Area Council to earn. Then the amazing thing is, Buhari Area Council is only going to add 870 million in terms of internally generated revenue to that budget, which is appalling for an area council that is adjudged the second large with various economic strength by the presence of institutions and companies, organizations that are resident here, and even the strength of the people of Buhari Area Council, that if properly harnessed, Buhari should be running a 100 billion economy in terms of annual budget. So when you ask me that, does the money commiserate with the development on ground? There's not any development on ground in the first place for us to begin to talk about development.
But there are we could see development.
You can point them, if you can pinpoint them. No, these are federal government intervention. Federal government so far, since the coming of it administration, by the reports available, has injected in the region of over 80 billion in terms of infrastructural development in Buhari Area Council, like the roads that you mentioned. Okay, so the present administration of Buhari Area Council is almost spending 7 years in government. Can you juxtapose and tell yourself, you are a journalist, maybe you must have done some investigation over time, in your own sincere mind, placing things side by side, the amount of money the council has received in the time and the life of this administration, compared to what is on ground, does it show that anything had happened or is happening on ground as far as Buhari Area Council is concerned? So that's why we are telling people that we must take governance so seriously at the grassroots. Like, I'm going to come back to your question about ignorance or negligence on the part of the people. The reason the people don't really worry about some of it.
Have you tried look at the human capital development? Let's look away from the infrastructure on ground. Maybe the roads. That's
why I say it's a holistic thing. When you talk about human capital development, what exactly is human capital development? In our country, we have a system that takes care of human capacity development through organized or institutional education, through schools. Now, when you look at the kind of system we run, based on the three legislative lists that we have, you have the exclusive, you have the concurrent, and you have the residual. The federal government of Nigeria has, on the education in terms of human capital development, is on the concurrent list. That is to say, state can make laws on education. Federal government they can set up schools and run their school based on their own laws. Then you have the residual. Now it has been statutorily, legally, orchestrated that primary education is within the purview of the local government, and that's why you have the LEAs managed by the local government. You and I are very aware of what transpired in recent time. The strike that almost sent our primary education into extinction in Buhari Area Council and the 6 area councils in the FCT.
As we speak, they've not been able to recover.
They have not even recovered from that. Other kids are on holiday. The schools are open because they need to meet up with the wasted time and all of that. So when you talk about human capital development, I don't have enough data to rate Buhari Area Council, but from what I'm seeing so far, from what is existing around me so far, we are low on human capital development.
Okay,
we are low.
Honorable Sonny Onaji, you've talked quite on the government that is in existence. We are looking at you, you're vying for the post of a councillorship in Kuduru Ward under Accord Party. When you eventually emerge, what are you going to do differently? Going by your complaints so far.
We are starting. We are starting afresh.
Starting afresh.
Yes, nothing has.
How do you mean starting afresh? Somebody has been there.
Where you and I.
So you have to pick it. You can't say you are starting. Someone has started already.
Where we are at the moment is Kuduru Ward. It's part of Kuduru Ward. Do you know the name of the councillor? Do you know the name of the councillor?
Well, he's.
You don't know it.
He's hidden.
He's not ubiquitous, as far as his job is concerned, because he doesn't really know why he was voted there. Who really don't know what governance is at the grassroots. Okay, let me shock you. FCT has a registered number of voters in the region of 1.5 million registered voters. AMAC, out of that number, AMAC took around 800,000 voters. Buhari has about 270,000 voters. Amazingly, on the day of the last FCT council election that was conducted, the number of registered voters that came out to vote and accredited that there was 21,000 voters. Out of 270 registered voters in Buhari Area Council, only 21,000 came out to vote.
What could be the reason? Voter party?
The candidate of the PDP that won the election, talking about Honorable John Gabaya, won with 13,000 votes. His close rival got 7,000 votes. This is a council that has about 270,000 registered voters. You didn't even have up to 20%.
And that means people are not interested at the grassroots.
And that is because it's not negligence. Now I am coming back to your initial question that you asked. It is not negligence, it is ignorance. Now, how do you show so much ignorance to a council or to a tier of government that gets, based on the federal allocation sharing formula, the fiscal policy, they get 20% of whatever the federal government, in July, the federal government made 2 trillion naira. What it means, 20% is going to go to all the local government in Nigeria. Hope you understand me. 26% is going to go to the state, while the federal government retains about 54% of that amount. If anybody shows ignorance and does not care what happens at the grassroots, and that's why the journey to the evolution of the Nigerian state, as far as good governance that you asked me initially is concerned, is going to be a tough one. Because the people don't know what's going on. We are talking about a budget for Buhari Area Council, even though the chairman and the people who manage all of these don't even know what they are doing in the first place. Okay. 27.7 billion, that's a lot of money for anybody to turn the economy of any area council around. The people don't even know what is going on. Now, the question you asked me, to come back to that question, that what am I going to do differently? Yes. We are starting the area council afresh. We are injecting fresh blood into the council. We know what our work is. We are going to do things differently. If you want me to itemize, what it means is give us for time's sake, just give us 3. One of the things that the councillors are elected for is representation and legislation. The area council is a microcosm or a prototype of what is obtainable at the federal level, where you have the three arms of government: the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. At the council level, we also have the executive and we have the legislature. The councillors are the legislatures. They are the ones representing the individual ward around here. So what we are going to do in my time in 2026 as a councillor of Kuduru Ward, we are activating and also bringing the consciousness of people who will be elected in that election to understand that governance at the grassroots is a serious business. So we are injecting the legislative right of councillors in the council so that some of these amounts you are mentioning will begin to legislate, to engage, community engagement, so that the people will be aware that there is money here. You know, as a councillor, I can't build road for you. I can't build clinic for you. My work is representation and legislation, to push the executive to pay attention to where projects should happen in individual ward. And that's exactly what I'll be doing. Right. Accountability. I'm going to hold the executive accountable and make sure what is due for the people of Kuduru comes to them. This 27 billion naira you're hearing, 27.7 billion naira, it's not about mentioning figures, it's about implementation. At the end of the day, can we pinpoint individual projects in the 10 wards in Buhari Area Council and say this is what the chairman of Buhari Area Council or the council as a whole did in the course of their time in office? So my time as councillor, we are opening the people's eye. There's going to be a massive education and exposure to some extent for the people to understand that they have a stake in the governance of the council. Like we said, politics is local. The president of Nigeria comes from a local government and he comes from a ward. If he retires from there, he's going to go back there. So it's not about focusing at the federal. I have given a breakdown of how all the tiers of government earn from the federal, coffers. So our people must wake up and take responsibility as far as governance is concerned at the grassroots.
Honorable Sonny Onaji, you sound convincing. You sound like a great candidate, for your party and to represent the people. But my fear is the party you are in, Accord Party. Accord Party is a featherweight political party. It's not known. People don't even know what Accord. If I go to take statistics of on the road now, if I ask people, do you know Accord Party? What is the logo? What is the sign? What do you know Accord Party? In fact, they are going to sound very confused. Now, what are you people doing? What are you doing? What is Accord Party doing? Because when you talk about PDP, you talk about umbrella. When you talk about APC, there is a broom. Now, when you talk about Labour Party, there's Mama, Papa, Pikin. No, they were able to push this narrative. Labour Party were able to push this narrative in 2023. It worked out for them. What are you doing, your party? Because that's my only fear for you.
You don't need to be afraid. The PDP we are talking about, if you go historically and you want to trace the history of PDP, how did the PDP come into existence? PDP was a party of necessity. If you recall, from 1999, when we returned to democracy in the Fourth Republic, the Fourth Republic, you knew how PDP was registered. Because the military wanted to hand over power, they concocted that party together. It was not a party that the Nigerian people actually wanted to have. The two parties the military gave us at that time in 1999, which was PDP and APP, that later became ANPP, that have the merger that led to APC today. So they are just already a favored party. Nigeria has about 18 registered political parties today. It's quite appalling that Nigerians are only used to two parties, because the powers that be only want us to understand that it is only these two parties that can bequeath good governance to us. Accord Party was registered in 2006. And as I tell you the truth, even the Labour Party you are mentioning is behind Accord Party. When you are talking about elected members, a party that has done well in terms of having elected members. But like you said, Labour Party came to limelight in the 2023 election as a result of what happened. So many factors led to making Labour Party popular. Accord is as popular as any party. In short, we are number one on the ballot. If you go to, by our acronym, we are A on the ballot. Okay? So if you go to the ballot, we are A, the logo is thumbs up with an A. on the ballot. Hey, that's who we are. So Accord Party is not a featherweight like you mentioned it. We are a party. Do you want me to begin to mention where we have won elections? In 2017, we won 3 councillorship in Lagos.
Look at.
In Jigawa, we have councillors. In Lagos, Federal House of Rep, Mushi 1 Federal Constituency, we have a rep.
So,
Accord Party is not just... Okay,
let's come back home to Kuduru, your Kuduru ward, because it's on your shoulders.
It's on my shoulder. I'm the leader of the party and I am the candidate of Accord.
It's on your shoulders to show the people. You need to hawk it like gala.
No, we are hawking it. The campaign will begin on the 24th of September. Whatever we do in terms of rally or mass movement or engaging people on the street and create any rancor or any chaotic situation will amount to flagrant disregard for INEC's rules and guidelines. So we are a very law-abiding party, and that's why we are consulting underground, talking to people within our ward and also outside our ward. We have candidates in all the wards in Buhari Area Council, and all of us, we have a mandate to sell our party to our constituents, so which we are doing. But I tell you the truth, from the 24th of this month, which is September 24th of September, when INEC window for campaign officially is slated to begin, definitely we are going to make the noise. You are going to hear about Accord. We are going to present our manifesto. We'll speak to the people. I will appreciate if YC Studio can as well put up a debate for candidates so that we can come to the studio here and we present our manifestos to the people of Buhari and we speak. Let them hear our perspective and what we think of how Buhari should be governed and where Buhari should go from this level. So, like I said, I think it is time for Nigerians to be wary to some extent of parties and focus on individuals. All my life I've been trained, I've been living this dream to contribute my quota to governance in our country. So whoever thinks it is party that is going to bequeath that good governance, not the personality and his intellectual capacity, should go ahead and be voting for people who have nothing to offer in the name of a legacy party or parties that are popular and continue to wallow in abject poverty and governance, or how do I put it, the bad governance that we are faced with today.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sonny Onaji. Quite expressive there. Viewers, this is where we call it a wrap. I want to say thank you very much to Honorable Sonny Onaji for stopping by. Of course, viewers have been speaking with the councillorship candidate for Kuduru Ward under the Accord Party for the 2026 election for Buhari Area Council. And this is where we call it a wrap on Politing on YC Studio 1212. My name is Toski. Until I come your way with a fresh edition of the show. Until then, goodbye.